Okay. Hi. It's Sunday. So, my name's Corey, and this is Persephone Rising. So, today, I'm going to start working on one of my inner child pieces. Basically, I'm working on I mean series this series started Um, and I'm just going to be super real here and transparent. So this series started when I was living in a relationship that was very, very unhealthy and toxic, and I needed to. It became very clear to me that I needed to get out. Um, but I couldn't necessarily, because of certain circumstances, I couldn't necessarily do that instantaneously. And as an artist, I mean, what I have always done since I was a child is transmute my experiences through art. So I take everything that I'm going through and experiencing, and then I use it as fuel. I use it as like fertilizer for creating creating art. And I think that that's really like the part of the alchemy that artists do, um, which is what gave me the whole original like insight and inspiration for Persephone Rising. So um, anyway, so this is another work in the series, which is in the literally these pieces of art that I'm creating. They are um, externalizations of my inner process. So I don't have, the result, the final thing. I don't have it all figured out in advance. I just get like a, I just the next step comes to me. Usually intuitively, but I'll just feel like, wow, I feel like I'm touching into um, I feel like I'm touching into inner child stuff here. And so then I'm like, oh, okay, my next piece is going to be the child. And so when I meditated on the image of the child and the archetype of the child, I realized I was like, there's more than one. There's like, and I feel like in my own life and my own experience, I have, and I identified four, and I'm going to be creating them one at a time. Um, the feral child. It could be or I'm thinking maybe the natural child, the mystic child, the creative child, and the golden child. So, the first child that I think that I'm going to create is the creative child. Um, and I got inspired by this image of my son playing the violin. So I'm probably going to use this. I'm going to use him as my model, my muse. And I've been looking at different. Um, I found this image of this flower with pollen kind of coming off, the stamen, and it's beautiful because it's like this, you know, eruption, right? Of creativity, of like the fertility of life, right? Of the beautiful, sweet, mystical powder of fertility and creativity. Um, and the creative process does feel very much that way to me. Like it feels like this kind of mystical, magical process. Um, and then as I was looking at the flower, I was like, I think I'm going to put it upside down. I'm going to tilt this so you guys can see a little bit my table, my desk, my piece. So it feel like all of a sudden I just got this idea because I was looking at it like this, and then all of a sudden I got this idea like, what if I turn it upside down? And I was like, oh yeah, I like that. And so the petals are going upwards, and I am so this is what I have so far. And I have a vision of like musical notes of swirling. And I was playing with this stencil because I love the movement and the vibration. It looks like vibration to me and frequency music, which is very much music. And I didn't post the video, but I made a video. I made a video of me talking about dance and um what the practice is to me, and this speaks to it because it's very much about vibration and frequency, and um, that sound is a physical thing. It's a physical, like I experience it like sound waves. When I dance, I experience them physically. Like I feel them sensorily. I mean, and I do think that I am clairsentient. Um, is that the right word? I know that I'm empathic, so I'm very much and I'm very much like a physical empath, like I feel things in my body. And um so I feel the sensation of the waves of the music and the frequency. So like the pulsation, and there's this pulsation of life, and that pulsation is very much involved in creativity, right? It's like an in breath and an out breath and an in breath and an out breath, and even when you can think of it like if we're making love, or we are breathing, or watching a flower open and blossom, right? There's this pulsation, right? That we can see, and it's really like it's the movement, a dance in that polarity, right? And it builds momentum, a power. So if we combine that with heart, with feeling, with thinking, with emotion, with intention, with loving intentions, or with like a positive vision, a beautiful vision, it's very powerful. It's very powerful indeed. And then um, there's a lot of healing potential in that, and a lot of creative potential, manifestation potential. So that's all I'm gonna say right now about that. But it also, feels super beautiful to participate in. So, which is why I love ecstatic dance so much. Um, and yeah, but anyway, so I like this stencil because I feel like, it it makes visible that sort of vibration and that pulsation, which is pretty cool. And then yeah, yeah, I like that. So and there's something that I just kind of picked this book, because I wanted to um read you a little part, because one of the things I'm working towards also is like eventually, hopefully soon, I would love to hold some like classes, like online classes where, or workshops where we get together and we create art together. And when I was talking about, my own process, it's not because like, oh, I want to tell you all about my life, but just to share what my experience is of the power of creating art like in this way, that it is a kind of magic, because when you're working in this way where you don't exactly have a pre-planned idea or vision, but you're just pulling from your own experience and the sort of the questions and the um, conundrums that you are playing with in your own life and seeing play out in your life. And then you are, you know, looking for images that reflect that back to you, that reflect aspects of that back to you. Um, and then you start to configure them and put them together. Um, and then just trusting like what feels right, what looks right, what resonates with me, and then just going with that. It's pretty profound, like what ultimately can reveal itself to you. Every single piece I've made in this series, um, I didn't know exactly what I was going to make, like what it was going to end up looking like. It was a process that actually showed me myself. So it's this idea of like the work has a wisdom, the work itself, like the art itself speaks to you. And it shows you things. It's like a mirror reflecting back to you. And it's incredibly uh I find it to be incredibly profound. I have learned so much about myself, about um it's shown me aspects of myself that I didn't know were there or that I didn't have, the self-confidence to see um, originally. It's really beautiful. It's like a part of yourself that is speaking to you, that's showing you who you are. So it's almost like I can liken it to a type of soul retrieval through art making. It's I think it's pretty cool. So and I want to share it with people who are interested. So okay, so back to this book. So this is a cool book that I picked up at a used bookstore it's called Free Play, Improvisation in Life and Art. And it is by Stephen Nachmanovich. And I don't know if it's still in print. Um, and I actually shared this with my son, who's a musician, when he was about in ninth grade, and he was like, read it and was like, "Yeah, that book was like really cool, Mom," which I thought was cool because it is very much like it's kind of written from a musician's point of view, a lot of it, but I just want to read to you this part, which is called "Shaping the Whole." In free improvisation, we play the sounds and silences. And as we play them, they disappear forever. In producing large works, books, symphonies, plays, research projects, films, we are perforce taking the results of many inspirations and melding them together into a flowing structure that has its own integrity and endures through time. The most ephemeral thoughts and feelings are gradually shaped into hard copy that is worked over, painted over, edited, and refined before the public sees it. This is where the sculptor cuts away and polishes the stone, where the painter covers the beginnings of the image with layer upon layer of enriching revision. The muse presents raw bursts of inspiration, flashes, and improvisatory moments in which the art just flows out. But she also presents the technical, organizational job of taking what we have generated, then filing and fitting and playing with the pieces until they line up. This is very much like collage, what the process I'm using right now. It's all these parts, and you're kind of arranging them and rearranging them and then making adjustments. We arrange them, cook them, render them down, digest them, we add, subtract, reframe, shift, break apart, melt together. The play of revision and editing transforms the raw into the cooked. This is a whole art unto itself of vision and revision, playing again with the half-baked products of our prior play. And I think of this too as a metaphor for life. Like you know, we we don't have to have it all figured out all the time, like we think that maybe we do or we think we should. But, even in the practice of refining and of editing, we're still in that state of improvisation. We're still hopefully open to, that divine conversation where we're observing the signs, noticing our feelings, noticing, the what resonates, what doesn't, what are the what signs are we getting back, what feedback are we getting um to indicate, you know that we're on the right track. It is essential to perform that secretarial labor in a way that is not mechanical. Editing must come from the same inspired joy and abandon as free improvisation. Stravinsky tells us the idea of work to be done is for me so closely bound up with the idea of the arranging of materials and of the pleasure that the actual doing of the work affords us. That should the impossible happen and my work suddenly be given to me in a perfectly completed form, I should be embarrassed and nonplussed by it as by a hoax. Yeah, right? Like it would be almost like boring. And, if it was just like, oh, here, do this, and this is exactly what you need to do, and just follow these steps and, just execute. Just be like, well, where's the fun in that? I mean, there's no collaboration happening. There's no interchange. There's no room for growth or for discovery, right? Um, There is a stereotype belief that the muse in us acts from inspiration, while the editor in us acts from reason and judgment. But if we leave our imp or improviser out of the process, revision becomes impossible. Um, the evolving organism takes on a momentum and identity of its own. Yep. Our artwork is a living, breathing thing. Yes. Um, we conduct a dialogue with the living work in progress. We need not be shy about talking out loud to our work. Generally, we regard talking to oneself out loud as a sign of lunacy and answering oneself back a sign of even worse lunacy. But in the case of creative bafflement, this is a very valuable technique. Just get away from other people for a while so you can do it undisturbed. Yes, yes, very important. At crucial times, this inner dialogue becomes the core of the creative process. Yeah, I love that. So, Stephen Nachmanovich, free, it's called Free Play. Beautiful. And this is from the chapter called Form Unfolding. What a cool book. Um, so, in keeping with that, am I still recording? Yes. How long has this gone on? Oh, 18 minutes. That's not too bad. Okay. So I am, okay, here's my vision so far is I've got this flower, I've got this vibrational like pulsations, and then I've got the image of my son, sweet, sweet pea, so focused on his violin, playing violin. So, and from emanating from his violin is going to be music, and then there will probably be other disciplines of art as well. I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't decided. Was also thinking about, plants and flowers as images of creativity, but we've got one here, massive lily here. Um, So this is what I have so far. I'm probably going to work on it a little bit and then maybe I'll come back to you guys. Um, and yeah, I have a lot to share with you. I've been like, a lot of people are going through a lot right now, but I'm definitely going through some shifts, so it's pretty exciting. I made a video this morning right when I woke up from a dream I had, but I'm not sure if I should post it because I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I will. But yeah, there's some pretty exciting things happening astrologically, as many of you probably know. Grand water trines and um, kites and, you know, just Mercury retrograde. This is like a special Mercury retrograde happening. And then, Uranus is moving back into Taurus, uh, which is my sign. So that's, feel like I'm getting the hang of Uranus and Taurus. Like, oh my God, it was there for a while. So, I hope you guys like my background. I'm kind of digging it. Anyway, I, I, I don't, I send you fabulous, pulsations of love and beauty and joy and music and every possible wonderful thing that you can just cultivate in your life. And that is what I wish for you. And have a wonderful rest of your evening. Yeah, maybe what I'll do is like part one and part two or something like that. Okay. All right. Take care. Until next time.